right, bang, welcome to the Mid Show. Here we are. Mid Show is presented by Miller Lite. The draft is over.
Mm-hmm.
It's baseball season, though, Ed.
And so
is it?
Yeah,
It's baseball season.
It is baseball season. But, you know, if you're anything like us, you celebrate with Miller Lite, regardless if it's baseball season, if it's draft season, if it's hockey season.
It's Bedard season.
If it's Bedard season.
Celebratory Millers.
Yes, because with the taste you can count on, there's nothing like Miller Lite. Miller Lite knows that beer lovers want their light beer to taste like beer. And that's why they brew a light beer that's light on calories, not on taste, because what's the point of having a beer if you can't taste it? Yeah, we're all in agreement here on that.
Oh, it's the absolute best. I mean, it's that color. It's the color of the can. You told me that cool story about how they were just going to do a limited release of that can, and then everybody loved it because it's the perfect looking can, that white can. They just kept it forever.
It's a very cool story.
Yep. So Miller Lite, great tasting, less filling, the absolute best. I'm going to be drinking them over at in Wrigleyville tonight, getting ready for the Cubs game.
Well, that's what I love. So I love that we're going to a rooftop tonight. They can't get Miller inside the stadium, except for maybe a few stands, to my knowledge.
Yep.
But we'll be on a rooftop, so we'll have all Millers galore, which is better. So
way better.
Yes.
Great experience. Party vibe.
Exactly. Till kickoff comes around again, enjoy the beer that tastes like the season. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/redline. Or let's be honest, you could pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere that they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. All right. Big show today. We got the Punky QB, Jim McMahon, coming on. We've been hanging this one in the holster for a little bit. Great interview. It was fun. Jim McMahon, like we said, it's been so long. I think we've had this banked for like 2 months now.
6 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, 6 weeks at least. We talked about it right after. Jim McMahon had surgery on his ankle the day before.
Yeah.
So he was in like the most amount of pain I think I've ever seen a person in.
I think, you know, his brand is being like the punky QB, the tough quarterback, still to this day. Yeah. It's like he's not going to let a simple little surgery where he almost had to have his foot hacked off stop him from doing an interview with the boys.
Yeah. So if you're like, hey, Jim McMahon hated you guys, I don't think he did. I think he was just in a lot of pain.
He was in a ton of pain, and when we went to take a picture after, they passed me his grandson. So we must have made at least a trustworthy.
Yeah,
I got his number.
He was in so much pain. I shook his hand when I was like, fucker. And like, because like, I like jolted it. Like, I did something like
he was grimacing a little bit, but it's
does that Dave? Can you say does the hand squeeze go down to the leg or something like that?
Let's get Dr. Lehman on the phone. Everything's connected, right?
The central nervous system
is connected to the ear bone.
Yeah,
like that one kid song.
You might have just knocked him off balance a little bit.
Yeah, so I hope 6 weeks later, I hope Jimmy Mack is feeling a lot better because, I mean, the guy just doesn't deserve to be in that much pain.
Flat out, I walked in and I didn't even ask these guys. You could just tell he was in pain, and I looked at him like, hey, we can leave if you want. Like, we don't have to do this. Like, we can get out of here and get out of here. You can go get rest.
His son was a nice guy, too.
Yeah.
His son stopped by. Yeah,
Great guy.
It was, we met the whole McMahon clan.
We did. It was a lot of fun, even given the circumstance. And
I hope he's out there golfing barefoot again.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I hope.
Which I didn't know that was because he golfed barefoot, not as like he's being a weird guy. He just does it because he doesn't like the pain of the golf shoes. So like that's the level that we're talking about with him.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
I mean, Bears fans will love it, I'm sure.
Yep.
It's Jim McMahon, only fucking quarterback who's won a Super Bowl in this town. So besides that, what's going on, Dave? I think the karaoke of Tuesday's show got in your head because you won't stop singing Heaven. And that's the most depressing song to walk into work to.
Yeah, that was just it was a recommended video. I was looking for something to blog on the Twitter trending, and it was the first ever recording of Tears in Heaven by Eric Clapton. But last night I woke up at like 1 a.m. on the couch, moved to my bed, and I don't know why. I have no idea why, but I have had from Pitch Perfect, I Saw the Sign, the acapella version stuck in my head.
It's a fucking
I don't
jam.
know why. It's so good.
It's on Netflix right now.
I haven't watched it in a couple of years. I love that movie though.
It's a great movie.
They're all great.
Yeah. I've only seen the first two, and the second one's significantly worse than the first.
The first one's
awesome.
It's a banger. I love that movie. It's so adorable.
Every song is a toe tapper.
You're just like sitting there.
What do you think?
Well, the other day at the golf simulator, this guy couldn't stop singing "We All Live in a Yellow Submarine."
Oh, that was
because the commercial was going on when we were in there the entire
you fucking
time.
idiot.
He's got a jukebox in his head. He's just singing a new song every day.
Well, that one was the Pitch Perfect thing was just it just happened. The other one was because of the commercial that was playing basically in loop at the fitting.
That is one of the most annoying songs ever recorded to have stuck in your head.
Yellow
too.
Submarine?
Yeah.
Oh,
so it was bad
that's
enough.
awful song.
Bad enough that we had to hear it in the commercial. Then you just kept singing it for 6 hours while we were getting fitted for gloves. Can we not start? Can we not do that again?
Why? I enjoyed having karaoke with Pat Bev on Tuesday.
That was different. You guys want to sing Chris Brown and Usher? I'm fine. I just don't want to hear the Yellow Submarine.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Pitch Perfect are really good movies. At least I think I've seen them all. I think I've seen the first one.
There's 3,
Chris
I'm
might
pretty
smack
sure.
me for
Yeah, there's
saying
3,
that.
I think. I think I've seen the first 2.
Yeah, I definitely have seen 1 or 2 of them.
Big
and I
Anna
really
Kendrick
liked
guy.
them.
Oh, yeah.
And how about this for a hardo? I remember I was at a softball game, and there were people are saying, like, I saw Pitch Perfect, it was good, and this one guy like was disgusted. He's just he legitimately dead serious. We're just like, are we not men anymore? I swear
Is
to
it
God.
playing softball with Brian Cushing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like are we
We're like,
pussies
dude,
for
Adam from Workaholics is in it though. It's fine.
Are we pussies for liking?
So is Brittany
Pitch
Snow.
Perfect?
I loved her for a hot minute, by the way.
Oh, I'm a big Brittany Snow guy.
What else has she
John
been
Tucker
in?
must
That
die.
just that
Prom night.
Prom
I
night.
haven't seen Prom
Yeah,
Night.
Prom Night.
She's nice in Prom night.
Yeah,
Yeah,
What else is she?
Bonk.
She's 37 now.
being honest.
that's all she is. She's still young.
I disagree. The Pacifier. Never seen that one.
What's the review on the Pacifier, Chris?
I haven't seen Pacifier since I was in like 2nd grade. That was when Vin Diesel tried to have a career after Fast and Furious.
Ah,
2
Chris.
years later, but
Chris.
Seemed like a shot at Vin Diesel.
Yeah, Chris. Took
Yeah,
a shot at
he
Vin
gave
Diesel.
his life
And Saving Private Ryan.
for our country.
I want to save that little girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
4 years ago.
Speaking of that, I saw that it is the anniversary of Frank the Tank getting duped by Johnny Sins, the army picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you see that?
Wait, no.
I remember
You've
that.
never seen that? That's one of my favorite
We
things.
pull that up on the board.
Johnny Sins. Frank the Tank. Johnny Sins is always wearing like he's doing porn videos.
Yeah.
and
Might
like
be,
he's like a
careful with the
Marine.
Google search here.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's on. Viva La Stool tweeted it, so that's your best bet. So he's always doing like doctor uniforms
Yes.
and army, and so he's in this army uniform. And someone tweeted at Frank, he's like, "My cousin deserves to be honored," and Frank said, "Yes, he does." And I remember that doesn't have it because that's a screenshot of the tweet, but I remember the replies were just like unloading. Come on,
I can't believe that was
Frank.
4 years ago.
Yeah, come on, Frank. And Frank's like, how do I know? I don't watch porn.
You guys remember who is that fucking troll account?
Barry McCockner.
Barry
your guy?
McCockner. Yeah, he was.
What do you mean? How do you forget him?
That was
years
your
ago.
That was,
guy.
that was
dude.
years ago. That was years ago.
Are you off the Barry train? Confirmed?
He's like gone. I think I haven't seen him in forever.
Is he?
He has a new handle every
Got a
month.
YouTube channel? Chris says.
But
does.
who was the fucking blonde chick that was like super right wing on Fox News?
Tommy
All of
Lauren?
Tommy Loren, yeah, or Tommy, or however you say it.
Tommy.
She got duped by the exact same
He had it
thing.
right the first time.
Oh, she got
she
duped by it
did?
too?
The exact same thing by Barry McCockner.
Oh, I
yeah.
think you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think she did. I think you're right. Great times.
Yeah.
Great times.
it's a victimless crime, and it's always funny.
I wish Frank was a bigger deal in like Internet 1.0 or Twitter 1, like 2014. I wish I was following Frank because I bet you that was a wild time.
He could have been right up there with the Numa kid on YouTube. All of that. Doing
probably.
the soda
Yeah.
reviews. The hummus.
I mean, if you want, though, just go to Sports Encyclopedia. It hasn't moved since
That's
2000.
true.
It's legit. The site.
Do you remember when he pitched that Portnoy and
Yeah, he
what was it,
needed-
Mark Rapoli?
It's fucking
Rapoli,
bullshit that
yeah.
Portnoy didn't give him
Yeah.
$500,000 to fix
Yeah.
that website.
How did that
It's
combo
like you
go?
really, he's like,
He goes, Frank, you need $500,000 to fix this website? He's like, at least. At least. Pull that
and
up.
he made
Pull that
he
up.
made Dave laugh to the point where I was like, Dave might just give it to me.
Yeah, he might just
exactly. Rapoli did. I think he gave him $10,000 of body armor ads or something like that. And they're still on the site. So that was a great deal by Rapoli. Frank just never took them off.
I also feel like that was the thing that made Frank go full time, if I have the timeline correct. I don't think he was. I don't think he was full time with Barstool at that point.
No, I remember what it was. It was when Doug's got hired. They hired Frank with them.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Dave's
okay.
right. I think Dave's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Because Frank was still at the courthouse wearing the Darth Vader helmet. Well, you say a big brain. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The biggest news story
It's not up, but we can't see it.
I want to make the sports encyclopedia into what I've always envisioned it to be, a powerful sports resource.
How much do you need to get that to the next level?
At least $100,000 to make a.
You need $100,000?
At least.
All-time clip though.
It is
like
a great
that's,
clip.
You know, like if you were gonna, we should do
At
like
least.
I don't know we're probably coming up on what the actual 20th anniversary of Barstool Sports. If we have like the
I thought
top,
that already happened, didn't it?
no, 'cause-
The 20th?
yeah,
No, I think it's coming up this summer.
yeah.
But I never
It
know.
was I thought it was 03.
I always thought it was 04, but it is 03.
Yeah.
It
So
is
it
03.
was summer of 03.
Yeah.
And there should be like a top 200 like Barstool related clips or pictures or stuff, you know, like
How many is White Sox Dave making pictures?
Probably half of them.
At least 100.
how many
least.
how many legitimately do you think Dave has? That would make that list. Moments Dave has.
It's tough, man. 20 years is like such a
I know.
decorated
Yeah.
history, and there's so much Dave and Dan shit that like
Yeah.
would take over a lot of the slots. Obviously, there would definitely be White Sox Dave clips, I would say, but
Assignment for next week. Homework.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good list though.
I think my Aussie one makes it as a picture.
The Aussie picture.
Yeah, the engagement photo.
Bro, there's a lot of people here. I mean, it's a great one. I think.
Yeah.
I think it could too. But
Do you know what popped up on my timeline yesterday with all like the Bedard stuff going on was the Dave Dan 2013 like Blackhawks Bruins challenge where they're like rollerblading around the city in like full uniform. Like Dan is the Blackhawks, Dave is the Bruins, and they're just like doing like street hockey shit across the town and like racing down the lakeshore. And I don't know, like those clips, like those early clips where they're just being knuckleheads always crack me up.
what's interesting is if you look back, I think there's an argument that pizza versus burrito was maybe the most influential thing ever done. Maybe the most important thing ever done.
It gave birth to the pizza reviews.
It gave birth to the pizza reviews, which
Yep.
is fucking massive.
Yep.
And like I feel like that was one of Dan's first big things on camera.
On camera?
Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
like,
I
for
mean, that was
sure.
right. That was like the first time he went full time.
This is what happens. I'm a second-class citizen.
We're having a lot of trouble.
Burrito's
Let's-
second class.
We could just not bring it up.
There we go. Look how skinny he is.
Hey. He looks fine.
He looks fine. It's 10 years
He
ago, but
looks the
he's like
same.
he's just a different guy.
Yeah.
Good
That's a
old
sloppy
Big Head.
burrito
But I'm
right
I'm
there.
almost positive that was because they were going to the Big Ten tournament because that was Michigan and Wisconsin.
Correct, yeah.
And I think that was the first weekend Dan was full time.
Full-time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how. Yeah. That's that. And then obviously.
And then I got
so
hired
maybe
back a month later.
There's two
after
things.
being
There was
fired.
the Blackhawks Bruins thing, and then that. So, but I think there's an argument for sure.
Yep.
I mean, you know, pizza, burritos, HelloFresh, Chief, HelloFresh.
HelloFresh, Dave, you gotta get on this HelloFresh. We were talking about it before. So this is like the top-notch food delivery service. It allows you to make it yourself. HelloFresh does more than just deliver delicious dinners. Now you can take your pick from 40 weekly recipes, but you can choose from over 100 items to round out your order, from snacks, easy lunches to desserts, and pantry necessities. Everything arrives in one box on a delivery day that you choose. So you're not just kind of sitting around waiting for it to show up. When the spring sunshine is calling your name, don't call for takeout. Get HelloFresh instead. Their quick and easy meals make feeding a family a cinch without the high price tag. Their new fast and fresh options are ready in just 15 minutes or less. HelloFresh makes dinner time a snap with deliciously easy options that will please everyone around your table. From fit and wholesome to pescatarian to veggie, they have a meal plan that suits your lifestyle. Plus, you can swap out proteins and sides to your liking. Check Save Money off your growing to-do list with the help of HelloFresh. HelloFresh is cheaper than the grocery shopping and 25% cheaper than takeout. And there is something that I think is like just good and cathartic about cooking your own food at night at the end of the day in your own kitchen. It just makes you feel better. It gets like your endorphins going, I feel like, better than just getting delivery takeout. So go to hellofresh.com/themid16 and use the mid16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. So that's a huge.
I'm doing this as we speak. You've already sold me.
Dave is signing up. So, and Dave, and you like to cook, and this just
I do.
Like, this is one of those things where it's like, especially if you're learning how to cook, this takes all the guesswork out of it. It's a great way to learn how to do it, and they just deliver everything you need. And my thing is always, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I've gained some weight. Portion control. I eat pretty healthy, but portion control is always a thing. HelloFresh takes the guesswork out of that for you too.
There you go.
So go to HelloFresh.com. Again, the promo code is the mid16.
All right. So on Tuesday's show, I would highly recommend everyone go back and listen to it. If people are confused, it's on the live tab of YouTube. It gets a little tricky. I don't know if you've ever thought that. But if you're trying to watch on YouTube, if not, it's on the feed.
The mid show?
Yeah. Because when it goes live, it just naturally pushes. It's not like
It's
if
been
you
on the
click
main
all
page.
videos. Yeah.
After we go live, when I like set the title and the thumbnail, and we're able to do that. I'm able to. It's also added to like the welcome to the bar.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Perfect.
But yeah, there is a small amount of time where it's on just the live tab.
Yeah. So if you can't find it, that's that. Go listen to it. Pat Bev joined us for like 20, 30 minutes. It was fun. And we talked a lot about Connor Bedard, obviously, because the Blackhawks won the lottery.
Live show we've had so far.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was
awesome.
great.
It was nice
great.
and off the cuff, which I like.
It was a good one. So a lot of Bedard stuff there. So listen to that. But I also want to get back to it to see if there's anything that you really didn't get to that you think we need to get to.
Yeah, I think, the dust has settled a little bit. I mean, there's been a simulation, like a computer simulation done that like predicted his career stats. You want to go through it? I'll just go through it real quick.
Come on, what is this, fucking Rocky 6?
Games played 1455.
Pull it up if you can.
It's on EA Sports at the NHL tab. It was out an hour ago. So games played 1455, goals 739, assists 1145. So total points 1,884. Calder trophies, 1. That's the Rookie of the Year. Hart trophies, that's the MVP. That's 4. The Ted Lindsay Trophy, 4. Rocket Richard.
Wait, what's that?
The Ted Lindsay.
Lindsay?
It's like the players vote on like the most outstanding player. The Rocket Richard Trophy, that's for leading the league in goals, 2. So a little, I don't know, less than I would have guessed. And then the Stanley Cup, 3. So I accept those results.
We're back.
I accept those results. They look pretty accurate to me.
And that's just like the median.
Yeah, I mean that's just look.
He
at
could
that.
be like an 8-9 time.
We
Hart
have
trophy.
made insane advancements in AI in the last 6 months or so. So I trust these results and accept them.
Yeah,
so I
so
look
do I.
forward to him winning 4 MVPs, 3 Stanley Cups. The only thing that's not on here is the Conn Smythe, which is playoff MVPs. And you'd think that if he gets the 3 cups, he probably gets at least 3 of those as well. So yeah, I can't wait for the next,
Hey, Dave.
12, 15 years. We got our guy. It's important to get, if you're going to be bad and get a top pick, this is the time to do it. And I'm officially in the camp that, it wasn't rigged at all. Definitely wasn't rigged. Like, why would you rig it? And
with what the Blackhawks just did, you can't rig it.
You can't rig
This
it.
is
So
just lottery
they've shown
balls
all the
doing-
behind
yeah.
the scenes stuff. It was just the reason everybody thinks it's rigged. I got kind of a scoop on that from Pat Boyle, is that there was like this back and forth between ESPN and TSN about who would do the broadcast and be simulcast. So ESPN won. ESPN insisted on having an analyst read the results instead of like a host who would normally do it. So they had Kevin Weeks. And I guess I wasn't paying attention to each number, but he was like each team that was revealed, but he was doing like a little blurb the whole way through. And he like repeatedly like kept reading too far. So he read too far. He was basically like a Ron Burgundy moment. Like he just read.
Yeah, the teleprompter was too fast.
Yeah.
That's all there
and he
was
read
to
it. Read it. Yeah. So that's all there was. So it's no big conspiracy. He just read it wrong.
Hey, Dave.
And then it was the results are in, and we got our guy.
Do we like 4 Hart trophies?
I could deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 MVPs, baby.
And how old is he again, Chief?
He's 17. He turns 18 in July. So
He's 17.
17.
Hey, Dave. I don't really like that though.
What?
We don't need projections like that. Then that's like,
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Have fun.
you're the one who was saying you just yelled at him Tuesday about saying he's a can't miss.
I mean,
We're giving him 4 hearts.
I brought up the potential of the I word.
yeah, that's always a case he could get hit by a bus. Like, you just
Yeah.
don't know. But let's assume that none of that happens, and he's just, and like I saw him like every little clip that I see, it's like he was just working out yesterday. It's like, this guy's gonna be unbelievable. Look at those.
He's just Hall of Famer.
Fucking quadzilla. And he's not as skinny. Like, everyone's like, oh, he's small. If you're 17 and you weigh 185,
that's a nice little frame.
Pretty
to work
fucking
with
thick.
right there.
Thick, yeah. So
When does he get to Chicago and everything?
there will be a prospect camp here sometime after the draft. Usually it's like early, mid-July. In a normal calendar. So I think it was in August last year because everything was with COVID.
There's no opening presser or anything?
Oh, they'll do something after draft day. So I
okay.
believe the draft is
I'm
July
a fucking
28th.
idiot. I'm so already putting
it's
the cart in
June
front of the horse.
28th and
It's just a
June
foregone
29th.
conclusion. We drafted this guy in my head already,
But-
and I'm like, oh, it's just a lottery.
Yeah, but
That's where I'm at.
But they have.
I know, that's what's funny.
Like, the first 2 picks are decided.
Well, remember now. Listen. Okay, let's have fun here for a second. Let's
I'm
have
having
fun.
a great time. I've
Let's-
had nothing but fun for the last 36 hours or so.
Let's have fun with 2 ways. Remember when? Well, I guess it kind of is a moot point at this juncture. But remember when your tweet too saying Fantilli was better, which you've backtracked on.
Yeah, like 3 weeks later.
Yeah, but remember Scott was very convinced that Fantilli was going to be the pick anyways, because he
That one?
Yeah, remember that? But that was also when we had Kane, because he said like he meshed better with Kane, and that's someone that
So I don't even agree with that take from Scott. I think Bedard.
you remember that though. We were sitting at Declan's and he said that.
Yeah. I remember that. But Bedard and Kane would have been perfect. But the Fantilli thing, and like now it's even, I was concerned that Bedard would be too small to play center. And if you look at like who wins consistently in the NHL, like it's always like the little guys have like these great regular seasons, the skill guys, the Mitch Marners and all those types of people. And then you get to the playoffs and who wins? It's the big dogs. It's the St. Louis Blues win it, and then Tampa Bay, they had to muscle up to get over the hump, and like you need like those types of guys. But when I was talking to Arm Dog and Merles, and those guys, they played with Crosby when he was 18, his rookie year, and he's about the same size, and Colby Armstrong just spent like the last few days up in Canada with Bedard. Just like, he's fucking thick. Like, his legs are thick. He's thicker upper body than you'd realize, and he's just a machine. Like, he's a machine where he just works out all the time. He loves being at the rink. He's super competitive. He's basically like he's Sidney Crosby, but he's got a better shot.
So they're as sold on him as everyone else is when it comes to the Crosby and
I was
McDavid
so
comparisons.
over the moon to get him, and then talking to those two guys, especially Armstrong, that put me at a whole different level. Now I see that graphic, and it's like only 3 cups and only 4 hearts. Like, that's kind of...
Is there anything you can nitpick in his game?
Sure. I mean, he's 18. You're 17. So, like, there's... Like, he'll have to get a little bit better defensively. He's going to have to get a little bit quicker. He doesn't have, like, that Connor McDavid speed, but the way that he wins is that he moves so well laterally. So... And then that was the other thing Armdog was saying, like everything, and this is Bedard talking about his own game. He's like, every little movement that he has, like he opens up his hips, he like puts his stick out wide. Guys have to respect his shot so much. So every little movement, they overreact. So he does like all these, like he just sets guys up. So he like puts it out here for like a split second, and they jump on it because they're like, I got to get to that shot because he can release it from anywhere. And then he just goes right by.
What was
it.
Larry Fitzgerald's 40? Wasn't it like 4.7 or something?
Yeah,
Is
but-
he like one of those guys
No.
that just is insanely crisp route running, to put it into football terms?
That's not the worst analogy. So like McDavid does everything at full speed, okay? And that's like, and he just goes around guys. Where Bedard, once he's like, he's not slow. Like people, people are like talking about him like he's slow. He's still going to be in the top 10% of skaters in the league. But like once he has the puck in the zone and there's like a guy in front of him, it's like it's almost like an Iverson kind of like crossover. Okay.
And
and he just kind of jukes guys out, and It's like I've been posting these clips. Like I was laying
I've
in
been
bed,
watching a ton of them too.
I just sit there and like laugh to myself at how good this guy is, because he's going to come in right away and just be awesome, and he'll be an all-star next year. He will be an all-star next year, and everyone's like, oh, like what's a realistic timeline? Like the casual people, and it's like October. Like he's gonna be good on night one. Like he's that special. And like, you talk about guys like Austin Matthews. Austin Matthews came in at 18 for the Leafs. You know what he did his first game? He scored 4 goals. So like there are like these freak guys who come in right away and are good right away. Patrick Kane was good right away. McDavid was good right away. Crosby had 100 points his rookie year. I think like the floor for Bedard his rookie year points wise is like probably 70, and that has more to do with the roster construction as it is now than anything else. So, and I do think they'll bring in free agents. I could see Max Domi coming back. They might go out and get that guy Bertuzzi, who had a nice little playoff run with Boston, because he's kind of they want to have some guys that can protect him too. I would love it if they signed Ryan Reeves. You guys know who that is? Revo. I think they will get a guy like that, like 100%, like a fourth line kind of physically intimidating guy. Like, don't fuck with Connor Bedard. And they're not going to be good, but they're going to be fun, and they're going to have 4 to 5 rookies on the team next year, in addition to Bedard. So it's just like there's going to be bumps in the road, but they're probably every single night one of those kids is going to make a play that's going to be spectacular.
Like, wow, yeah.
And then at the end of the year, that's when Frank Nazar comes in, the kid from Michigan, who was a first-round pick last year, and it's like everything's starting to come together, and it's like
the place, yeah.
And then you can legitimately target. I think they'll not next year, but the year after. So what would that be? 24-25 season. They'll contend for a wild card at that point, and then the next year it's like, all right, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
So
well, you also brought up a fun question. Well, you had something. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. No, Ryan, I just sent you that video. But I was watching that like profiling him like before the draft. But now that you guys have him, it's kind of depressing. But
wait, which profile is
so
that?
have you seen this video? But have you heard the story of his wrist?
Yeah. Okay.
So that's an unbelievable story.
Have we talked? Okay.
Well, the video I sent you, Ryan, it's like an ESPN NHL one. I don't want to play it, but like there's a few like tidbits about how this guy is like a freak. Like he went on a family vacation to Hawaii and he refused. Like he didn't want to go. And like the only way that he was able to go was to bring all of his hockey equipment. Yeah. And people in Hawaii were like, this is the first time we've ever seen someone in Hawaii with hockey equipment. And he was like a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah. So his parents, his dad's like according to Colby Armstrong, is like a big like blue collar guy. He's like a legitimate lumberjack is what his job is in
like
Western.
an Albertan or something.
Or British Columbia. So they they like save up. They're gonna go on this trip to Hawaii, and Bedard, I think did it say how old he was, Tom? He was like 12 or 13.
He was the age that he should have enjoyed a trip to Hawaii.
Yeah. But so he was like on the internet like researching. He's like, I found an inline league, so I'm going to join the league while we're in Hawaii. So he's like, we're not, you're not doing that. He's like, yeah, I am. So he brought all his hockey equipment, like Tom said. That was the only time like the people have been saying, I've been working at this hotel for 25 years. I've never seen a hockey bag before. And then they had this other story. So he was actually in Chicago for like, the junior championships or whatever it was. And he broke his wrist. And this is a kid who's like addicted to playing hockey and shooting pucks. He's got the synthetic surface in the backyard and he just shoots pucks all day long. And the break was close to his growth plate. So the doctor was like, hey, you can't use that at all. Like, otherwise you're going to end up with a guy like this with one arm, long arm, one short arm. And because his parents were like legit worried that they wouldn't be able to stop him from shooting pucks, even though he has a broken arm. So he listened to the doctor, but it turns out his parents were right. They couldn't stop him from shooting pucks. He just shot it with one arm. Okay. So then his like wrist action got like even that much better. So then when at 6 or 10, 12, whatever the healing time was for his wrist, when he went back out to shoot pucks, it was like he had gone to a different level. So he can legitimately, with one hand on a stick, go bar down.
That's crazy.
It's like
it was like out of that movie. What is it? Little Big League or like
Rookie of the Year? Yeah, where he breaks his elbow and comes back throwing 105.
He came back with a super arm. And,
yeah.
And
that actually happened to Billy Wagner. I want to say.
Well, like
he used to be righty.
Yeah.
broke his arm, started throwing lefty, and just
Really?
Yeah, something like that. I want to say it was Billy
That's
Wagner.
pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
And then this is like a TSN piece from a couple months ago, similar type story, where his dad, they were talking to both parents, and they show these like home videos of Bedard just like wheeling through the house on rollerblades and stick handling through like cups in the hallway and things, like making himself cones. And his dad's like, yep, like, you know, we never wanted to stop him from doing that. And his mom's like, I did. He was breaking vases and putting holes in the wall and doing all kinds of shit all the time. And his dad's like, well, yeah, that's true. But we didn't. He's like, he was doing all this stuff on his own. Like, we never had to like encourage him or be like, hey, you should be working out or pushing him at all. He's like, we never wanted to put out that fire. So we just let him do it. And it was like, we'll worry about the vases and the drywall later.
Those, yeah.
And because he's like, I don't want to put handcuffs on his like passion. And I feel like that's like a good parenting lesson. Like,
Oh, yeah,
you got a
fuck
kid
yeah.
who's just like a self-starter, just fucking let him destroy the house. He'll buy you a new house someday. And so yeah, now we have the perfect guy. We really do.
I don't know if I like how happy he is.
Why? You should be happy too.
I
You're
am-
gonna
I
have fun in
am.
the bars, watching the Stanley Cup Finals. Like,
It's like
I
getting
can't
residual
wait.
puss.
like that.
Right, Chief?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, agreed.
The runoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the runoff. And yeah, so it's just like that. And I've said this before.
Dave gets a twin.
He gets the other one.
He gets the other girl.
Yeah. So, but I've said it before, but like that stretch run where things were so fun here, even for people who don't really care about hockey, they really embraced the 09 to 15 Hawks because they were great and they were fun. You're watching on a rooftop in the summer. Chicago's an unbelievable summer city, obviously. Lottery night on the internet, and then like the next day, like my phone was blowing up. I got a thing from Twitter. I had never had this before, where I got it like the whole screen went white, and they're like, "You're getting too many notifications. Would you like to turn on filters?" And I was like, "Oh, I've personally never seen that before." But I was like, "Nah, fuck it. I don't want to deal with anything right now." But it was like because everybody was just genuinely so
Happy.
excited.
Well, that's why I think that's a fun discussion. What we're going to talk about. And before we get to it, though, I do want to talk about ChevyDriveChicago.com.
Drive what Connor Bedard drives.
Yes, soon to be, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
You already know Chevy Drive Chicago, but for the second summer in a row, your local Chevy dealers want to give you a chance to sales Chicago. Chevy's great. They're always giving people shit. Like there was the Barstool $500 merch card before, and now it's this. So ChevyDriveChicago.com, in a partnership with Tailgate the Lake, is giving 4 grand prize winners and all of their friends the opportunity for a boat charter on Lake Michigan this summer. Entering is easy. Head to ChevyDriveChicago.com for a chance to win. Should be ChevyDriveChicago.com /Barstool. But obviously,
we did this in 2019. I've been dying to do it again.
Yeah.
Because we just haven't been able to work out our schedule. But it's so fun. You cruise around the lake. All thanks to Chevy Drive Chicago.
yeah, so make sure you check out this summer's SUV lineup while you're there. Find your local Chevy dealer today. And look at, check out all those cars, all those whips, the Blazers, the Trax,
Colorado.
the Colorado, the Silverado, you name it,
Yep.
the Malibu. It's there for you. So go do
Yo,
that.
boo.
Yeah, get a chance to win a tour around the lake.
Yeah. I wonder what car from that Chevy lineup Connor Bedard will pick. Because I'm sure he will step right into that marketing campaign the way that Taves and Kane did. That's all him now.
As soon as he gets his license.
Yeah.
I think
He's probably got
probably has it. Or just have a driver. He can,
Yeah.
Real
That's
quick,
even-
someone in the chat last episode said that Connor Bedard was asked what his favorite thing to do besides hockey is, and he was like, roller hockey.
That's funny.
God damn it. I am so fucking excited. Like every little nugget like that just gets me so, like fired up. And like you said yesterday, Ed, like I know I'm hateable right now. I know.
I would love
You're
to be
hateable.
that
I didn't
hateable.
know you that well, and I thought you were hateable in like 13, 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the way your arrogance is.
But like that team, and I like
When
this,
we're good, you're a very arrogant fan.
This is just pure joy. Like I haven't been arrogant except for that EA Sports thing, which was a joke.
And like knowing you now, like we haven't started in 2 months, like you were kidding.
Yeah.
But I know there's people out there that are like, fuck this guy.
Well, they're like, fuck
Oh,
this
yeah.
guy because I think they're more mad. Oh, I did have that one, the one tweet that was like an intentional troll about how we haven't had a star.
Yeah, that's what
in 2
that's what he
months.
said,
Yeah.
I know that wasn't the one that got me.
What was the one that got you?
that Chiefs already trying to like redesign the parade route. It was like the
I've been
route they
saying
have is annoying. We should change it up. Like
I've always had this dream from this, and I've tweeted this like way back in the day when they were realistic. But instead of having it end at Grant Park, have it end at North Ave Beach and just have like a beach party and have and like have the stage be on like the roof of Castaways, and it's just like people on their boats, like miles and miles of people on the beach. Like that to me would be
That'd be sweet.
That'd be fucking sweet.
That'd
It's
be
just a good
fucking
idea.
sweet.
So,
but then they're someone's tossing mud balls from the lake, and then you got a lot of problems.
But hey, Tom, can I be real with you for a second?
yeah,
The Leafs not being able to figure it out with like a core that in many ways resembles the last Blackhawks core, where they have a number one center, they have a super skilled guy like Marta, that's kind of like their Kane. They signed John Tavares, it's kind of like their Marian Hossa acquisition. Morgan Riley is awesome. He's not as good as Duncan Keith, but he's awesome. Like them not being able to really even come close to contending does make me nervous. So just because like you have one of these guys,
it's hockey, dude. It's a game of kind of, who knows? One stick this way, one post that
and like
way.
they don't have a hawk. And the one thing the Leafs with this group really haven't been able to figure out is the goaltending
and an organization. Like look at the Oilers, like they have.
Yeah, them too. Yeah, like they've gotten closer, but you're exactly right. Like they haven't been able to. I think the furthest they've gone is a conference finals, and they're, as we're recording this, they're down 2-1 to Vegas right now. They play tonight. So yeah, totally. Like it's there are no guarantees, but I really like, obviously, like the Bedard thing is unbelievable, but in general, the types of players that they're drafting, I think they have like those. They have a ton of high floor guys, like guys that can skate, guys that are smart, guys that work hard. Like all the think of like Brandon Hagel, Lafferty, those types of guys that have been here. Andrew Shaw, like they have a lot of those. Like not all of them will like make the NHL, but that's the type of profile of guys that they're drafting.
Little hockey rats. It sounds like.
Yeah. So and then just guys that can fucking skate.
Do you want to get to that question?
What's the Wembayama thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I'm interested what you guys have to say about this more than anything, because I'm pretty set in my ways. But Big Cat went on Waddle and Sylvie yesterday, and he posed the question: would you trade? Like, let's say, I think it depends on who it is. So I guess it doesn't matter. But whoever wins the lottery for the NBA, would you trade Bedard for Wembayama and just do like a cross-sport city trade? And me, it's an automatic no. And I'm wondering what you guys think, who are more...
Absolutely fucking not.
You wouldn't do it?
Fuck no.
Because of Reinsdorf?
Yep. He doesn't deserve that. He doesn't deserve that.
That's a fair answer. So I would say... All right, I would say no, just because I don't think Wembanyama is as can't miss as Connor Bedard.
I agree.
Especially the I word for him.
Yes.
Fucking knees and all the
7'2".
lankiness.
I mean, listen, he's a unicorn. But if it was as can't miss, I think I would.
Just because of that?
Because like I think we are so far gone from having, all right, we had a couple really fun, exciting D Rose years. But like, if you really piece that together, obviously it's been since '98 since we've really had fucking full glory basketball here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you think the parties like they'll be just as good for the Bulls?
I won't enjoy them as much, but sure.
So you won't personally, but I'm telling you, people just naturally understand the game of basketball better.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just a fact.
Yeah.
It's just a fact. It's what I believe is the second most popular sport. At this
probably,
point.
yeah.
Taking soccer out of the equation.
Is Lance still sitting over there?
Yes.
Yeah, Lance, can you just Google Wembayama feet? Because I want you guys to see this, because this is the thing where I saw him like, oh, he has no.
Or he's got tennis rackets down there,
dude. It's unbelievable.
But that,
like the way his toes are like curl under his foot, kind of.
For that simple reason,
yeah,
like basketball.
Pull that up, make that bigger if you can.
I wonder how big his. Forget it.
I got these on Feet Finder. Oh my God, that big toe is just really
And look how skinny his little ankles are. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw that picture. I'm like, this guy's got 4 years.
I hope the guy has a 20-year career.
Totally.
I just don't see it happening, man.
Sure, I just like I said,
gotta
I
get
wouldn't do it
our
also
doctor
because
back on
I
the
just
phone.
don't think, you know,
Yeah.
People love that interview, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
few
it was
people
good.
reach out to
the doctor.
But
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like, you don't need to be a doctor to see like that. All the joint problems.
No, you
he's
probably
gonna
do.
have.
You got to be a doctor. to
Come
figure it
on.
out. I know that I'm being a moron and a meatball right now by looking at that picture and be like, he's going to get hurt. But I don't know shit. But like, I saw those things and I'm like,
Imagine stubbing that toe.
Yeah, it'd be fucking.
I don't think you do stub toes.
No, it'd be hard not to stub,
yeah,
dude. Look
pray
at
for
that.
the
I feel
wall.
like it just goes right through the drywall or through your bedpost. Like, that thing is fucking massive.
Yeah,
I'm more
but
concerned about the wall and the bedpost.
Yeah.
if he was just can't miss, I would do it because, like I said,
Yeah.
I think the NBA is, you know,
Yeah.
It's
No, it's a
number-
bigger it's a bigger
is.
deal, but
and people just naturally like it's more. The personalities are bigger. The coverage is bigger. Everything is just kind of expanded, and that's no disrespect to the NHL. Obviously, Connor Bedard's gonna be awesome.
the NHL is fourth. Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely fourth.
Yeah,
If fourth at this point.
Yeah, and the Hawks run was fucking amazing. But
Yeah.
basketball, like I just think if you answer that question, and you're a quick resounding no. I don't think you realize like how big it would be to have a.
Yeah,
the
I'm a
Bulls
quick
be-
resounding no because I'm a hockey guy. But I think
Yeah,
if you're a
exactly.
neutral, then I think it's a discussion.
Like like the Celtics Sixers series.
Yeah.
Like you're in the mix with that. Like it's,
Oh, we Dave and I
it's
watched that
amazing.
whole game at the Barstool Sportsbook in the Hollywood Casino, and it was unbelievable.
Game
the
3?
Celtics, yeah,
Game 4?
It was,
Yeah, last second shot that didn't
that
count.
didn't count.
Yeah.
So that was Sunday. So yeah, it's been this is the most fun I've had watching the NBA playoffs.
I've actually
too.
watched it.
And I will say that the second round of the NHL playoffs has been absolutely trash. Like every game, it's like the NHL and the NBA have flipped, where every NHL game has been a blowout,
Yeah.
and the NBA has been like very competitive and close. So.
And I've been a big critic of the NBA about how the regular season is just getting so bad.
dog shit.
But it's still the playoffs is tough to top.
But I would say over the last 10 years, I thought the NBA playoffs were also anticlimactic and largely horrible.
Well, yeah, because KD ruined it. Like,
yeah,
he
it was
just-
all
it's
super
that simple.
teams. It was like
Yeah.
sweeps until the finals.
Yeah, he ruined.
Yeah.
he ruined the league for a couple
For a
years. And
minute.
that's not a exaggeration.
Yeah, well, I think you could say LeBron too. Like LeBron started that.
Yeah, but sure, he was the first domino, but they also lost that first finals to the Mavericks.
Yeah.
So there was at least some
Yeah.
drama for a period. Like the Warriors had already won 73 games, and then they got the second best player in basketball.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
like,
It's absurd.
what?
Yeah.
What? Like, how does that even make sense?
Yep.
So,
Yeah, and then like I love the drama of Jokic in this playoffs,
Shoving the
shoving the GM, and then they dapped up yesterday. But he's a guy that like I know his name. Obviously, he's won the MVPs. Like I know he's fucking awesome. But I don't sit around and watch a lot of Nuggets games during the regular season.
yeah.
I've watched a good amount of them during the playoffs. He's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
he's fucking, and he's like,
He won MVP.
I know, but like he can just do everything, and like I don't know, like he's I find like the way he plays like very entertaining too. It's not like he's just like a robot. Like he moves the ball, like he can shoot it, he can score from anywhere.
No
like,
passes.
He's fucking he's so good to watch.
He's won 2 MVPs, excuse me.
That's
A lot
what I
of people
said.
just-
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he's
said the
won two,
MVP.
yeah.
A lot of people think he
plural.
should have went
3 for 3
this year, but
yeah,
no disrespect to Embiid. Embiid's a dog too, but
yeah. But I think I'd rather watch Jokic play than Embiid play, if that makes sense. Like stylistically,
sure.
yeah,
Embiid's fun to watch too.
yeah. Put them together in the finals. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right, we can get to Jim McMahon, and we'll come back. We'll do a little baseball and get out of here. But before we do, I want to talk about More Labs. I don't know about you guys, but I can't think of a drink. I can't drink as much as I thought I would in college without feeling like shit.
We're getting old.
I think we all are
Yeah.
on that same
Yeah, I
page.
mean,
Danny especially.
Speak for yourself.
Nah, I mean, come on. I see you after some of those hangovers.
Yeah,
You're,
I
fucking,
Dragging ass.
I could use some of it.
you're the Walking
actually.
Dead, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Even just a few drinks has you feeling like crap these days. And in a world where we're being pulled in 1,000 different directions, you can't afford to miss a day. Like, this is the epitome of a Monday where you come off and
You're like, oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. Well, this is where More Labs is going to step in. They got this lifesaver of a drink called Morning Recovery that helps prevent rough mornings after drinking. Similar drinks have existed in Korea for a long time, but there were no options like it in the U.S. And that in the U.S. that works, so their founder quit his job at Tesla to fix that and create morning recovery. It's super simple. All you have to do is drink one morning recovery while you drink it before you go to bed. It contains super herbs, vitamins, and minerals that help you bounce back, and a proprietary blend of electrolytes to rehydrate you. So you can have fun at night and feel good the next day while feeling like a real human, like you did when you were 21. That sounds nice, right, Dave?
I would love that.
They conducted a clinical study, and users of morning recovery felt up to 80% better than those without morning recovery across various symptoms if they're drinking. Go to morelabs.com. That's morelabs.com. Use code MID for 20% off your first order of morning recovery. Ours are on the way, I heard. I'm very excited to get More Labs cooking in this office.
Big time.
Seeing how we feel, so we'll be able to, really explain how much better it is. So go check that out and be feeling better. All right, Jim McMahon set the stage a lot off the top of the show. I also want to say go watch that Stool Scenes from Arizona, because I don't think it got the love it should have gotten, and it was really good. Same thing with the Milwaukee one.
That was like one of my favorite trips we've ever done.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It was great. So without further ado, here's Jim McMahon.
Whoosh.
All right, so now we are in the interview portion of the show. We're joined by Bears Super Bowl quarterback Jim McMahon. Jim, you had surgery yesterday. You're in a lot of pain. We are very thankful that you did this. So thanks for jumping on.
I thought I'd feel a little bit better today, but obviously not. But yeah, it's been the fourth surgery in the last 16 months, and hopefully this one works. I haven't been able to walk, so it's been a little rough.
No golf, nothing, huh?
Oh, I've golfed, but just takes me a while to get set up.
Is this going to affect the no shoes, no socks?
No. Once these wounds heal up, I'll be fine.
What was behind that decision to go no shoes on the golf course? 'Cause my dad actually played in some celebrity thing with you a long time ago, and he's like, Jim McMahon doesn't wear shoes.
I don't do shoes particularly well. My feet are, too many fat people stepping on them with cleats all those years.
Oh, so I didn't even realize. I thought it was like just.
Plus, I don't like really white feet, so
Okay.
I like to get a little sun on them.
All right.
Oh, okay. It was an aesthetic thing.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I would have
guessed.
expected.
Yeah.
No, it feels great on the feet, though. I mean, you walk around in the grass, and some courses out here are a little tough because you get those choyas that are flying around, and I've stepped on a few of those. That's not fun, but I'd much rather be without shoes.
Yeah. So what we were talking before, this is surgery number what?
23.
23.
Yeah. It's not fun. This is the worst one I've ever had as far as rehab and pain. But I never had an infection before either, so that's what was the problem with this one.
What about playing career? Because obviously you had a bunch. What sticks out? Was it the kidney one against the Niners?
That was against the Raiders.
The Raiders. Sorry, my apologies.
Yeah, that kidney was a bad one.
Yeah.
I broke five ribs off my sternum in New York when I was playing for the Eagles. That was another bad one. But the other ones are pretty, knees and shoulders.
Yeah.
Typical stuff.
Yeah. You've definitely been banged up. That's for sure.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. If you play another era, like if you do look at it
wish
now.
You played today?
No. You got to deal with all this other crap today. Social media.
Yep.
No, I'm glad I played when I did.
But I feel like that would have been right up your alley. Like you had such a persona, you had such a character. Like you would have been great at that.
You had all that influence.
I don't even do it now myself, so I've got somebody else doing that.
Okay.
It bores the hell out of me. I don't care what people do all day long.
You don't like it, huh?
You like to be.
It doesn't affect my tea time. I don't care what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So is that what's life like now then? So that's, golf a lot, and what else? What else are you up to?
Well, I've joined a cannabis company with a couple ex-ball players, Kyle Turley and Evan Britton, a company called Revenant. We're in 3 states right now, talking to a few others, and hoping to be in all 37 legal states in the next 2 years. So that's what's been our focus.
Nice.
What's your favorite weed strain you got at that company?
If we were going to stop somewhere on the way back to our Airbnb, what would you recommend?
I recommend the Skywalker OG.
Okay.
We've also got some Mac 9s coming out there. I think they're diamond infused, and there's quite a few strains. I mean, there's strains for everything.
Yeah.
I'm mostly an indica guy. Sativa doesn't do much for me, but I like indicas, OGs. That's my strains.
You gonna name one after yourself, like a Punky QB?
We got our Mac 9s coming out soon.
Okay. Probably should have put that together, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, those will be out. I don't know if they're out yet, but and then we've got some other I think Cardinal Crush. I played here, and I think Cougar Blue is coming out as well. But we're really excited about our veterans line that we come out. It's called our Mission, and the strains are Purple Heart, Silver Star, and Call of Duty. And we got a bunch of veterans involved, and we're trying to get these guys off their meds too, just like the NFL players. Stop testing for cannabis and let these guys heal their bodies naturally rather than those pills that they give you.
Yeah,
they don't do anything.
Yeah.
They do nothing but mask pain. Whereas, cannabis has been, it's still the only patented neuroprotectant in the world. So why aren't these guys able to use it without repercussions?
Yeah.
So speaking of that, NFL, you said before, and we talked a little bit beforehand here, you don't watch it all anymore.
No, not really.
No.
I just check scores and see how my friends are doing that are still in the league. They're all coaching now, but Andy Reid, glad to see him win another Super Bowl. He's been a friend of mine since 1978. He was my left tackle in college, so he's done very well. Leslie Fraser's still doing well.
Yep.
Ron Rivera, ex-teammates, so they're all still doing well. I just kind of check and see how they're doing.
What was Andy Reid like as a guy at BYU?
Well, he struggled a little bit.
Okay.
But he wasn't as big as he is now.
Okay.
I mean, I think he was probably only about 275, 280 back in college. But no, he was a gamer. He fought. That's all you ask for your lineman, fight for you.
Yeah.
He definitely did that.
Was he one of your guys that you would run with and try to have fun with?
Well, Andy was I believe he was married at the time. We had a lot of married guys at BYU, so those guys didn't go out much. And not a whole lot of them did. So
yeah, and what's the story with that? Because we can kind of, I guess the next generation of Bears fans. How did BYU happen? Like, where else were you looking to? I know you were living at Utah at the time, right?
Yeah, I played my last 2 years of high school ball in Utah. I grew up in California, in San Jose, and started out there as a sophomore. And I wanted to stay, but my older brother was going to stay, so my dad didn't want to leave two of his sons back in California. So I moved to Utah. Finished my high school career, and then all I wanted to do was play baseball. That was my love. And the only two schools that I visited that said I could play both sports was BYU and Vegas. And Vegas happened to be my last trip, and had a hell of a good time. And I came home and said, "Pops, I'm going to Vegas." And he said, "No, you're not. It's not a big enough school." I think he was worried about me, going to the next level, which I wasn't worried about. And I said, "Hey, look, they offered me a house, car, money. I mean, easy job at the casino. Shit, I could have been a millionaire before I left school."
Yeah.
And I would have had a hell of a lot of fun, too. But it didn't work out that way, so I ended up at BYU.
Okay.
That's quite the
difference.
Polar opposites, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. So then I read, so freshman year, what were you doing for the team freshman year? You were punting?
Well, I made the varsity as a punter. I wanted to, make the varsity team any way I could. And I was a third-string quarterback at the time. But, unless you're the starter at BYU, you don't get any reps at all. Second-team guy rarely gets any, and third-team guy never gets any. So I wanted to do something else to make the club. I could always kick the ball, so I was able to make it then.
Okay. And then you said you weren't thinking about that stuff. He thought about you at the next level after college. At what point did you start thinking that way? And why didn't you think that way before? Were you just like, I'm a kid, I'm not thinking of that shit yet?
Oh, I wasn't worried about going on to the next level. I knew I could play. And I just wanted to have a good time in college like everybody else seemed to have. Mm-hmm. It was just not a fun experience for an 18-year-old kid to go into.
Not enough soaking?
It was just a very strange atmosphere.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah? All right.
The soaking's a real thing, though, right?
The what?
The soaking?
Soaking.
Oh, you haven't heard of that?
No.
I don't. I think it's a wives' tale.
Tell them what it is.
Ryan, you can tell him. You're the one who asked.
It's like the Mormon allowed sex where you can insert, but there's no movement or thrusting. So you just lay there.
And you soak.
I never heard that.
You never did a little soak, Jim?
No, I never heard about the soak.
Never went for a soak. All right.
No.
Hot tubs a lot, but not.
Nice hot tub soak. Is it that like strict? Like, were they that always on you?
Yeah. It was. I was on probation for 5 years there. So.
But you were the quarterback.
Never off.
When did the punky QB come to be? Because it I mean, I don't want to say it couldn't. I'm saying I don't think it came to be at BYU, but you were the punky QB. Obviously, that doesn't jive with BYU and their kind of stigma, you know?
No, that came to be when we did that damn video. I didn't write the lyrics. I don't know who did. But, yeah, that's when all that came about.
Did you like that at the time? Do you like that
I
nickname?
Still don't like it.
No?
I cut my hair bad, so they called me punk rocker or something.
But
yeah, it wasn't one of my favorite monikers.
But I mean, like it or not, it fit for what we were after you. I was born in '88, so I didn't get to see the '85. But like your legend lives on. Obviously, the '85 Bears, even with the White Sox in '05, the Blackhawks run they had, and then the Cubs in '16. The '85 Bears are it. Like, what was it like living in Chicago and being the toast of the town then? It's still 40 years later.
It was great. I mean, fans in Chicago have always, it's a bear town.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Bulls won 6 championships.
And the Bulls, yeah.
It was
you left
great,
out Michael
but
Jordan.
Yeah, forgot about him.
it was, they love the Bears there in Chicago.
Yeah.
You know, it's a hard working blue collar town, and all you got to do for fans to love you in Chicago is play hard, because they understand who does and who doesn't, and they'll love you if you play hard. And if you play hard and you win, they'll love you forever. And it's been almost 40 years, and they're still talking about us. So, yeah, we played hard, but we worked hard too.
Yeah.
And that Chicago was obviously like that'll live on forever. But the one picture that I'd say lives in fame.
I was just about to ask that.
For forever, even just on the internet now, Twitter, Instagram. Do you know what picture it is of you? No, it's the one of you walking into training camp, and you got the cooler, and you got the 2 cases of beer. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Oh,
now?
yeah, I remember that picture.
Yeah, exactly.
It was the wrong brand, but that's all they had. So.
Wrong brand, yeah.
I agree.
We agree.
We agree
For sure.
We kind of want to. I said this morning we should just slap it on a T-shirt. So do we have your permission to slap that on a T-shirt?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'll give you royalties
Yeah.
if they hit the merch bonus.
We'll change it to the right beer too.
The right.
That's
one.
not even the picture I was talking about though. So like I was kind of trying to lead you to like you guys were the team, the celebrities, the faces of Chicago through that era. And the picture I was talking about was on the golf course with you, MJ, Hawk Harrelson, and then who was the fourth one?
Ditka.
Was it Andre Dawson? Or it was Ditka.
Ditka.
It was with Ditka. So like what was it like just running around with like, MJ, he's the face of the entire sports world at the time, and then Hawk is obviously a legend in Chicago.
Oh, those guys are always great to hang out with. Hawk's always been fun to be around. And MJ and I played quite a bit of golf together when we were there in Chicago. Always had a good time. I mean, he's a very competitive guy.
Who hustles who? Hawk says he always got the better of you guys because we've interviewed him
Hawk's a good player. I could have good and bad days, so more bad than good. So, but I have a good time out there.
Speaking of that crew, if you could teleport back, one night in Chicago, you're running with 3 other guys, like you're hitting the town. Who's your crew? Who are you naming?
And where are you going?
Well, that would have been Kurt Becker, Keith Van Horn, and probably Hilgenberg.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to hang out with my linemen, keep them happy, and
there you go. That's
keep them
smart.
fed, and a lot of beers as well.
Yeah, and where do you think? Where was your spot? Like, where would you go?
It didn't matter.
Yeah,
we could go anywhere. We went out on Thursday nights, myself and the linemen. Whosever turn it was to buy, they picked the spot. So
yeah. Now everyone talks about like your clashes with Ditka, right? There's always like that's made that they had a falling out, they had a sour relationship.
Sybil.
Yeah. What's like? Do you have a good memory? Like besides obviously winning, like a real personable moment with him that kind of sticks out to you, that sticks with you to this day?
Not really. I think early on we had a pretty good relationship. It was after we won that things started going bad, but which is kind of ridiculous. But I guess we were fighting over who's going to do the commercial. I don't know what we got involved with, but it was. He just thought I did stuff to piss him off, which I did stuff to win ball games. I was taught in college that if you can exploit something on the defense, to do it, and so that was always been my mindset. And it's tough to do in that offense. I mean, that was the most boring thing I'd ever played in. It was great to hand it off to number 34, but I would have rather thrown it to him a lot more. But I think our relationship got really bad in '86. You know, I hurt my shoulder. I knew you were talking about your son's labrum. I had no labrum at all in '86. It tore up in the first game, and I should have never played again. But I had it fixed right then. I probably could have started the '87 season. Instead, I ended up on IR. But because I tried to play the next 10 weeks, I think I played 6 games. But some days I could throw and move around. Other days I couldn't even move the damn thing. So, and they kept telling me I was faking it. That's what really pissed me off. But we had a bye week late in the season. I went to see Frank Jobe out in L.A. He was the Rams and Dodger doctor. And he told me within 5 minutes, your arm's coming out of the socket. I said, I know. It's been doing that for 10 weeks. But these guys say there's nothing wrong with it. So I ended up having surgery probably a week later.
Were they straight up lying to you, or just they didn't think it and like didn't test you?
I don't know. The team doctor actually flew out to see the surgery, and when Frank cut me, he cut me from the top of my shoulder down to my armpit. And as soon as he opened me up, the guy said, "Oh man, he wasn't lying." I mean, why would I be lying?
Yeah.
You know, I played. 2 years prior to that with my kidney torn off. I was still playing, so I didn't understand what their rationale was.
Is some of the injuries and things like that, is that why you're kind of avoid the NFL now or football now, or is it just?
Oh, I love playing the game.
Okay.
You know, I don't like watching it. I didn't like watching it when I couldn't play, when I was on the sidelines. But yeah, I'm not a big fan. It's fun to play, but to watch it, it's not me.
Interesting. Okay.
Even when you were backing up in the later years, were you even?
No, it sucked too.
Yeah.
I felt I should be playing. I didn't care who was in front of me. I've always felt that I should be on the field. And you know, if you don't have that mindset, there's a lot of guys that are backups their whole life and they're happy with it. But I couldn't be that.
Yeah. Is there and what about when it comes to Mike McCaskey? Is there kind of obviously he's passed away now, but with the McCaskey family in general, is there still kind of some resentment there, or what's that relationship like now?
I didn't have any relationship with them. I think I talked to Michael one time. He said, and he relayed this to me. He says, "You know, we don't really care if we win every year. You know, that's not something you want to tell your players.
Yeah, or your fans.
You know, or your fans, right? But that's all he was worried about, is filling the stands up.
Yep.
You know, as long as we're competitive, you know, people will come to the games." And that's not what you tell ball players.
No, yeah.
You know,
and I doubt
hoping
that's
that
what the Rooneys say about the Steelers.
They grab you, you know, they try to get the best players, and you try to win. But that wasn't their philosophy.
We know that based off of the entirety of our lives, Bears being just nothing but mediocre, sans a couple of decent exceptions to that rule. What is the specific reason, though, that you aren't enjoying the NFL right now in your retirement? Just like been there, done that, or is there some sort of vendetta, or is it just as simple as I don't like watching football?
Yeah, very simple.
Just that easy?
Yeah.
Very simple. What do you watch then?
Oh, well, not much on this TV. I only got basic cable right now. So watching a lot of MeTV, a lot of old Andy Griffith and all those kind of old shows like that. That's all I've been able to get. But I can watch golf on TV. I can watch hockey.
Okay.
But that's about it.
Who's your hockey team?
Oh, it used to be the Hawks, but hell, they've been stinking it up lately too.
It's another team that doesn't really care about their stars and care about winning all the time. So you said you love playing. What is there a part of the season, like you mentioned the training camp video? Is there a part of the time where you're like, man, that was the most fun I had playing, like this year or this time or that team? Is there a time where you look back and was like, man, I wish I could transport back to that right now?
No, I don't want to transport anywhere right now. I'm good.
Except healed up.
Yeah.
You get that. You could transport to that ankle being healed.
Oh, then something else would probably be broke. So. Like I
Butterfly
always had
effect.
some kind of an issue.
Yeah. What about, obviously much was made that you wore a Bears jersey to the White House when you were with the Packers. Did nobody sniff that out? How did that whole thing go down?
Well, I told them all what was going to happen. I mentioned to all the players, all my teammates, that we didn't get to go back in the day. And the guys I was playing with in Green Bay, some of those young kids were like in junior high. That's what we were in junior high back then. We didn't know what happened. And I said, oh, well, the space shuttle blew up. We didn't get to go. They probably could have snuck us in there sometime between then and the time we actually went. But so I told my teammates, I told my coaches, look, we didn't get to go. I'm gonna represent the Bears. Nobody had a problem with it. Well, I take that back. Fritz Shermer, he was our defensive coordinator. He had a problem with it. And I think it just brought back bad memories because he was the coordinator for the Rams when we beat them to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I think that pissed him off a little bit.
50 points, right?
Other than that, yeah, it was. It wasn't a big deal. I think a lot of Green Bay fans got pissed, but they probably didn't, know that story.
Mm-hmm.
I've since said it a lot, so hopefully they'll let it go. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, at some point. We had Jeff Fisher on the show one time, and he told the story when you guys went to the White House to see Obama, that you brought him a headband and you also brought him a thong. Can you confirm that story?
I remember the headband. I don't know about the thong. I was probably wearing it.
The story Jeff Fisher says, you guys were on the bus and you're like, "Hey, Guppy, look at this."
That was actually a T-shirt I had underneath my coat and tie. It was just a picture of a huge pecker. And he goes, "What are you going to do with that?" I said, "I'm going to rub it on Obama." He's been screwing everybody else. I'm going to get him back.
I love it. Did you rub it on Obama?
Mm-hmm. That's a lot different.
We all stood around to take a picture, and I started taking my shirt off. Guys started moving away from me because they thought I was going to get shot by the Secret Service.
Would that bullet have been worth it? To make that stance?
I kind of laughed through it.
Yeah.
That's a lot different than what Jeff Fisher said. He said it was like, "Yeah, I brought him a thong." He's like, "What are you doing with a thong?" He's like, "Well, everyone likes thongs. Like, Obama's got to like thongs."
Maybe I did that to distract him from the pecker shirt.
The pecker shirt, for sure.
There's no way he'll pull
You're right.
pull two fast ones here.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. So obviously you don't watch. You're aware at least of what Justin Fields is doing right now, right? The Bears' current quarterback.
I know he can run. From what I hear. Yeah, I've seen him run a little bit.
So skill set aside, if someone approached you, a quarterback, and I'm sure someone has done throughout the years, if they're like, "Hey, give me something that I need to know, or something that would help me be the quarterback of the Chicago Bears," is there a piece of advice you usually point towards that, or what is it?
I'd say learn how to hand it off, but they get to throw it more now. I guess when Nagy was there, they threw it quite a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did.
Maybe a little too
I guess
much.
Cutler threw it a lot when he was there.
Yeah, for sure.
We didn't when I was. So I would have definitely liked to throw the ball more. But
Are you the best Bears quarterback of all time?
Well, I don't know all of them.
Yeah,
but I think I did okay. I think my record, that's all I worried about was wins and losses. I did statistics that's what gets you in the hall, statistics. But the only one that really mattered to me was wins and losses, and I won a lot more than I lost.
It's true.
Is there some intangible, like if you were talking to a high school coach right now, or there was a quarterback recruit being like, "All right, he's got the tools, he's got the big arm, he's got the size, all that, but does he got it here?" Like, what do you look for specifically between the ears?
If he understands what's going on. I mean, he's got to know what the hell his guys do, for one, what everybody on the offense does, and he's got to know what the hell the defense is doing. And when you grow up or you're in a system where you're handing the ball off all the time, you never learn what the defense does. And that's why I was lucky to be in college at BYU. We threw it pretty much every down. So I never turned my back to the defense. I always knew what was going on. And I think that helped me play early in my career, because I wasn't really surprised about any of the defenses. They can only do so much. And the safeties are always going to give it away. That's why they call them safeties. They're supposed to save your ass. So if they're up dicking around the line of scrimmage, that should alert you. I mean, you should have some kind of awareness of what, where people line up or how they look at you. You can tell a lot by their eyes. And some of them try to fool you, look away, and they're still, they're coming anyway. But you have to understand what's going on the other side of the ball to be a good quarterback.
Yeah. So obviously a big thing too in Chicago right now, it sounds like Arlington is going to be the move. They're going to get a dome stadium probably in Arlington Heights. What do you think about the Chicago Bears not playing at Soldier Field?
Well, I never really liked that field anyway. I mean, it was bad when it was AstroTurf, and then when it went to grass, it was still bad. So I think it'd be great for the fans, actually, because there'll be 4 ways to get into the stadium rather than 2.
Yeah.
You know, either north or south down at the Soldier Field.
Yep.
And the other way, you got 4 ways to get in and out. So I think for the fans, it's going to be great. And from what I'm hearing, they're going to make kind of like what the Cubs did in Wrigleyville. Just kind of make a little bear museum type thing. I think that'd be great for the fans.
Yeah.
If they invited you back, would you come?
Yeah, I've been back a few times.
Okay.
I don't get a whole lot of invites, but yeah, every once in a while. I was back for the 100-year deal.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's the night we went out on the field and was waving towels and getting them fired up to get their ass kicked that night.
Yeah, was that the opener against the Packers?
Yeah, it was against Green Bay, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
What a disaster that game was.
And you were, speaking of Green Bay, you were obviously the back. We talked about that. Was Favre like a good training camp buddy? Was he kind of cut from the same cloth as you, showing up with a couple cases of beer?
Yeah, Brett was fun to play with. He's a hell of a competitor. Loves to play the game. You still see him on these damn commercials out there throwing the ball to Jerry Rice and whatever, Copperfit or where the hell it is.
Yeah.
No free ads.
He's still like a kid at heart.
Yeah.
But he's a hell of a player, great competitor.
Who would finish a case first?
He stunk up the damn meeting rooms all the time. He always had gas. It was just
Brett Favre's a gassy. That shocks me absolutely. None.
Yeah.
Gassy guy, man. Mississippi gas stations.
Who would finish a case first, you or him?
I don't know. I'd probably be pretty close.
Okay.
But when I first got there, it was right when his, so-called Vicodin addiction came to light, right? And I got blamed for that. I just got there, and I got blamed for his addiction.
You're a bad influence.
But other than that, yeah, he was fun to play with.
Okay.
Yeah. That's kind of been the theme. I feel like you're always just getting blamed for shit, huh? That's been your life?
That's been pretty much my whole life.
Is there anybody you'd like to give a fuck you to before we sign off? Because we have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I got blamed from a lot of shit from my ex, who is no longer here. So.
Yeah,
she's gone.
And then obviously,
too much blame.
How you feel? How's the head feeling? How's everything like that?
It's probably about time to go see my doc in New York. It's probably been 5 or 6 months. It's usually 4, and but I've had all this stuff going on, so I couldn't get to see him. But hopefully, I'll see him soon. Get my regular adjustment, and then I'm good for the next 4 months.
Good. Well, Jim, thanks for doing this, especially with the shape you're in right now. So we appreciate it a lot.
My pleasure. I'm gonna go take some pain pills and pass out. You guys have a good day.
Yeah, well, thank you.
That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Jim McMahon, everybody. All right, we're back. Thanks again to Jim McMahon. As you could tell, like we said, he was in a tremendous amount of pain. He still stuck it out with us because he's Jim McMahon and he's a tough motherfucker. So, thanks to him. Let's do some baseball here, Dave. What's the pulse check? I don't want to get you too worked up, but
like I said, either last week or the week before, I don't give a shit if they win 20 games in a row. I don't give a shit if they win the division this year just to get fucking pounded by Tampa or Baltimore, whoever is their first round opponent in the ALDS. I would like to play a game. You want to play a game, Ed?
I like games.
Yeah, I'll play a game.
You want to play keep or trade? Because they need to blow it up. It doesn't matter.
That's where you're officially there?
They have to blow everything up. It's not going to happen. They're going to try to do the repiece, retool bullshit that they've always done for fucking decades. That has never worked, aside from one ancillary year.
What's tough, though, Dave, is I get your reasoning for not wanting to make the playoffs, and
it's not that I want to make the playoffs. They're probably not going to.
Yeah, like I genuinely want the White Sox
they're
to
only
make the playoffs.
6.5 games out, which is
crazy,
hilarious.
It's crazy.
That's how this is the. So the Twins are in first place at 19-17 right now. Sox just played them for the first time this year, last week or whatever. Last week, that team fucking sucks. And that's probably the best team in the division. Cleveland. I don't know. At least Cleveland's got the manager, but I mean this division it's so fucking pathetic in every single way, and no matter how good their record is at the end of the year, they can't keep doing this. They cannot keep doing this. It's bad. It's gonna be bad if
Dylan Cease.
Cease has been bad his last 4 starts.
So we're doing the keep or trade game. I thought I gave you a name.
He's one guy where you can afford to keep him if you don't get a haul for him.
But if you're redoing the rebuild,
if I'm restarting it,
you have to do the sale thing all over again, and he's the centerpiece of that.
You could wait to the offseason for him, but I am looking to move him sooner than later. They're not going to re-sign him, obviously, because he's going to get a fuck ton of money. I mean, he hasn't missed a start in like 3 years now. He's good for 30 starts every year, which is good in and out of itself. So, yeah. That's where I'm at. I think that's where all Sox fans should be at. I hope they make the playoffs. I want them to win every game. I don't think that's going to happen considering the dog shit roster construction, the dog shit ownership, the inability to supplement the handful of good players on the team with other good players via free agency. They need to start over and do it right, and they didn't do it right the last time. But
Chris, grab that microphone because you sound like you're enjoying this.
Chris Castellani's in the house, everybody.
What's going on, everybody?
Do you disagree with anything Dave is saying?
Dude, for some reason, Dave's use of the word dog shit makes me laugh every time. It's just such a fierce way of putting it. No, I don't disagree with anything he said, really, as far as the White Sox go. I mean, I think that you've reached a point and you can't even call it the rebuild anymore. Just the
no. This is a contention window, and they're in the worst division, and they're 13-20.
Now, how afraid are you? Or I feel like you've probably made peace with this, knowing that these guys are going to get traded and blossom when they go to other teams.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, like
you know that's inevitable.
At a very microscopic level, the Tampa Bay Rays, arguably the best organization in baseball, considering the resources that they have. They just signed Jake Diekman to a major league deal after the Sox DFA'd him. Saw that tweet from Jeff Passan or whoever it was that broke the signing. The Sox just let him go because he was objectively dog shit for the White Sox and the Red Sox and everybody. But the Rays pick him up, and because he's got good shit. He's a lefty that throws 97 with the wipeout slider. Yeah. As a middle reliever, those kind of guys don't grow on trees. I just know that he is gonna, and I mean, Jose Ruiz, Sox DFA'd him after a week or whatever into the season. I saw Beefloaf, our good friend from Section 108, tweet this. With Arizona, he's got 12 innings pitched, 13 strikeouts, 1 walk, and like a 2 ERA. Not that like I care about losing Jose Ruiz, because I don't, and it's a 13-inning sample or whatever it is. But that's just how it goes for them. It's how it goes. It's a combination of apathy and just acceptance from me, where I expect whoever they get rid of to just blossom into like some all-world player.
Right, yeah. That's such a crippling feeling when you know your team isn't the one that finds guys. Like, how much fun must it be to be a fan of the Rays or the Astros, knowing like you pick up some random player? Yeah, we're probably going to turn him around. Like Mauricio Dubon on a 20-game hitting streak out of nowhere for Houston. It's like, yeah, the same things happen with the Tigers. I mean, how many guys have left Detroit over the last decade and either turned their careers around or got better?
There's only a small handful of guys that came to the Sox and like then they saw their renaissance, or then they like James McCann was one after you guys non-tendered him. He's been good this year, I know.
Yeah.
And he had a great 2-year stretch, and he was off the scrap heap. He was like a fucking godsend for them for a couple years. And like other than
Cueto.
that, like Cueto, he had history.
Yeah.
He's had an incredible career.
Yeah.
Like Hall, a really good guy probably. I think he did win it. Didn't he win a Cy Young?
No, he came really close though. I mean his prime was right when Kershaw was just cleaning up. So, but he finished second or third a few times. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's had an amazing career.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was great for the Sox last year. If not for picking him up off the scrap heap, they aren't even sniffing 500 last year.
Did they get to 500, or were they 82 last year?
They were 81. They were 500 on the dot. That's exactly what they are. They're a 500 or worse organization.
Who do you think wins this division?
Jerry's dream.
Chris.
I still think Cleveland finds a way to win it in that 85 win range.
I would agree there.
I don't trust Minnesota in any capacity. Like, I mean, they haven't won a playoff game since W was president is probably part of it. But like, I just
their offense sucks. Correa hasn't been that good. Their pitching just doesn't do it for me.
Other
than the relief pitching's good.
I don't see Sonny Gray and Pablo Lopez pitching like aces the rest of the year. And I love Sonny Gray, but it's just they'll believe it when I see it. Team.
Yeah, he's got like a 1.2 ERA or something, right?
He's been great everywhere except New York.
Yeah,
like he's been an ace or ace caliber of 3 of the 4 teams he's played for. He stunk with the Yankees.
You don't have the emotional attachment to the White Sox. Obviously, you've seen the performance and you know what they are.
Yeah.
But in your mind, a little more objectively than Dave, can you see them winning this division?
I can, but not doing anything in the
squint?
postseason. Yeah, I mean, I think that with the new schedule, it is only going to further expose how terrible the AL Central is. I legitimately think 85 wins might win this division.
It might be the worst I can remember was in 2005 because I remember specifically
wasn't it the Padres?
The Padres are 82-80 and they won the division that year. I remember looking at the scoreboard. Every Sox game I was at that year, I'm like, how is this possible? And it was. I would not be surprised because of the more balanced division this year if a 500 team or less out of the Central made the playoffs. That's how bad this division is.
That's why
it's so bad.
That's why I'm rooting for expansion at this point because that'll mean divisional realignment because it's just complete nonsense that the Yankees are in last place right now would be leading the American League Central.
That's true.
They're 19 and 17 along with the Twins.
Why do you want divisional realignment? I didn't follow that.
Because I think it's ridiculous that you have one division which is essentially completely non-competitive in the American League Central and you have 5 good teams coming out of the American League East. I just think you need...
The Red Sox are not good.
But they'd be in first place right now if they played in the Central. Yeah. No, they're not good, but they're up there among the best teams in the American League Central right now.
Yeah, they would be the best team in the Central.
Yeah.
They're not good, but they're a middle of the pack team.
Right.
I mean, Chris Sale hasn't been good. They
have a relatively good lineup. Yoshida's been awesome.
Yeah.
Devers is great, but they don't have any pitching. But
wow, basically every team besides Oakland. And I know Houston and Mariners are a game behind. Would be first in the Central.
Yeah, and Oakland's not even trying, so that barely counts. Yeah,
so almost every team.
It's pathetic, Ed.
Yeah,
it is
tough.
really fucking pathetic. So I'm keeping Cease until probably the winter, unless you get a haul for him at the deadline. I mean. Bob Nightingale, who everybody on planet Earth who follows Major League Baseball to just a little extent knows that he is Jerry Reinsdorf's guy. And he had a piece, what's today? Wednesday. This was on Monday morning where the White Sox have already decided not to tender or not. No, he's a free agent this year, not to offer Lucas Giolito an extension and just let him walk. That tells me that
he's traded.
You have to trade him.
You got to ship him.
But now that everybody knows you're not going to re-sign him, you just fucked at least some leverage you have in a trade because they know you're trading him.
Yeah, but don't you think every other team knew they weren't going to sign him anyways?
Probably, but it's just it's the principle of it more than anything. You know what I
agree. It's showing your hand early. I understand.
You don't say that. You don't leak that, and. You know that with how arbitration works, to put it into very quick layman's terms, is the player side and the team side. They both have a number of what they think that they should be paid, and what the team thinks they should pay the player. Typically, you can't prior to arbitration, you can meet in the middle, but once you get to arbitration, it's not like, okay, well...
Yeah, the judge decides,
Yeah, but the judge decides one player's number or the team's number. It's not like, oh, you're going to meet in the middle.
Right.
They pick one or the other. And it was last year, Giolito, they took him to arbitration over $50,000. They ended up settling, so it wasn't that big of a deal, but it was over $50,000 fucking dollars. And Giolito was rightfully pissed. They got it sorted out in the end, but he was rightfully pissed. And you know that Jerry Reinsdorf, that shrewd fucking businessman that he is, he's just like sitting there like, fuck this guy for asking for $50,000 more. We're not giving him the $100 million plus that he's gonna be looking for.
That's probably like a Thursday night game's worth of sausages sold.
Probably.
Well, Dave, do you give Jerry any credit here for he sniffed out Rodon's back?
I would have never I'm not pissed that the White Sox didn't sign Rodon to 6 for 160 or whatever it was.
Yeah,
he
you're
got with the
pissed at
Yankees.
The
I was
qualifying
pissed
offer.
every single thing that led up to that contract offer. I'm not. There are exceptions to this rule, but pitchers and extensions like that and free agent contracts like that typically don't work out. If the White Sox had a hard rule where they wouldn't do that unless it was the absolute finishing touch for someone like, a Verlander or whoever, then like that rule I am fine with because pitchers are fragile by nature.
Mm-hmm.
And what made me sick is that the White Sox were afraid of that $18 million qualifying offer. They said, we don't need the fucking farm depth or the extra pool money that we would get if he rejected this qualifying offer, which, mind you, he told me to my fucking face, he knew in August that he wasn't touching. I was an asshole just on the internet, and I knew that. And they still didn't do it because they were afraid he might take it. And then not only when the Giants offered him the 2 for $44, I think it was, with the player option for the second year that he ended up opting out of, he took that to Ethan Katz, the White Sox pitching coach, who took it to Reinsdorf, and Reinsdorf said no. So they could have had a 5-win player last year that I think finished second in the Cy Young for San Francisco.
Wasn't
for $20
wasn't that
22
high,
million.
really?
I want to say it was second. But it was top
Wow,
5.
wow.
I'm pretty sure it was
Yeah.
second. He had an incredible year last year. He backed up 2021 with an awesome year in 2022. And they could have had that for $22 million. No, they went and got Vince fucking Velasquez instead. And
Did get Cueto out of that, but yeah.
no, they didn't get Cueto out of it. The only reason they got Cueto is because Lance Lynn tore his meniscus
That's right.
in
I
spring
forgot
training.
about that. Yeah.
So they passed on Cueto for Velasquez too.
Cueto was the last resort. It
Yeah,
actually
he was
worked,
like
yeah.
they needed a guy, and Cueto happened to be available still. He started the year in Charlotte. It was a minor league deal,
Yeah.
and he was their best pitcher last year. But last night, Giolito looked as good as he's looked since 2019. Hit 96, 97 with that sharp slider just on the outer half of this to a righty, inner half to a lefty. Gave up a bomb on a fucking awesome piece of hitting by Vinny Pasquantino that I wasn't even pissed about. It was like it was an awesome pitch, and rarely is that going to be taken for a base hit, let alone a bomb. So I would love him to string, I don't know, how many starts do you think he's got left before the deadline, 10 or 12 or whatever. Get, hit at a 90% clip in those starts. You have room for maybe a stinker or two and fucking deal his ass and get a haul. And Giolito, go and enjoy playing for an actual organization like the Dodgers or
Baltimore, I think, would be perfect for him.
Baltimore
Yeah.
would be perfect for him or Cease because they really need pitching.
Yeah.
And probably Toronto too. And Jerry DiPoto's never opposed to making a trade. I haven't looked at any Mariners prospects recently, but Robbie Ray just went down.
Yeah.
That was UCL?
Yeah, that's Tommy John.
Tommy John.
They have
So
a
he's
really
done
good.
for
They have a really
probably all of. He's probably done until the All-Star break at most.
Yeah.
At best next
They
year.
have a really good top of the rotation though with Castillo and Kirby and Logan Gilbert was great. But yeah, no, and he'll definitely be in the heart of a playoff chase at some point late this year.
Well, Dave, if it makes you feel any better, the Cubs are
They're sliding.
Yeah.
sliding.
No, I knew that was going to happen. And that's
We said it like the first
They're
week,
going to
too.
have what's their last 10 look like?
They've lost 3 in a row. I think they're 3 and 7.
Yeah, they're 3 and 7 their last 10. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes on for another 10 games and people start to get pissed. Don't do that, Cubs fans. This is part of the plan. I have heard a lot of people calling for Ross's head though, and that he's bad. I can't watch the Cubs because they have fun players, and that makes me sick to my stomach. But
they had 2 more fun players come up.
yeah,
last week.
they sure did. We'll get to them in a moment. But right after they have, they weather this storm, they're gonna do fun things again.
Yeah.
This is
they're fine. Like
Yeah.
no one has any real expectations, so it's fine.
And then the Pirates are regressing to the mean.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think the Cubs are that good, but they're not. Even though they're under 500, out of it. This is another terrible division. I mean, the team that was favored to win it is in last place right now. The Pirates aren't gonna
All the
last.
flyover
Yeah, but
states
they're
are
also a
just
game away from
awful.
sweeping the Cubs too, and it feels like that's a Cardinals thing to like jumpstart their season.
Get red hot. Yeah, I know. They had. Yeah, they had.
All they needed to do was move Contreras away from catcher. That was it.
That's what started it.
Yeah.
That was always a bad signing by the Cardinals.
That was such a bizarre saga, though.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah, he was kind of like leaning into it too.
Yeah,
this
well,
week. Yeah.
they initially, I Chris, correct me, but I think they said they moved him because they initially Yachty handled everything with the pitchers.
Yes.
And they just like expected
I
Contreras
feel
to
like
do the same thing.
in a way,
really?
no
What a
matter
ridiculous expectation.
I feel like in a way, no matter who they signed, it wouldn't have gone super well. Yachty was so beloved there. He's like renowned for being a great game caller, pitch framer. Wilson Contreras is a really good player. It might just not be the right fit.
Wilson Contreras is an awful catcher. He's a great athlete.
And he's got a great arm.
He's got a big arm.
Yeah.
A hose of an arm. But a catcher, bad defensively. He's just not a catcher. I think he'll be a perfectly fine outfielder, though. I really do, because he's a good athlete.
He'll be serviceable. You put him in corner outfield. At some
Yeah.
point, you could probably DH him, too, if you wanted
right.
to. Yeah,
exactly.
So glad we have that in both leagues now, man.
Yeah.
Who knows, though? Rumor has he's a little prick in the clubhouse, so he might not take a like to getting moved off his natural position. So we'll see. But best fans in baseball. Bad days for them, Ed.
Yeah, I mean, like Chief said, though, it kind of feels like this is the turning, the weathering of the storm.
I kind of feel like the Cubs need to win tonight.
Yeah, so we're recording on Wednesday for people that don't know, so we'll see what happens tonight, Wednesday night, 6:40 game. But, yeah, I don't know. Like we said, we kind of figured that this Cubs team would come back down to life, but I think there are some people that maybe gathered a little bit of expectation at the start.
This is, like, Morel's going to, I would assume, struggle for a bit of a stretch. Same with Mervis, because it's just natural when you get called up. You know, there's nerves. You're seeing big league pitching for the first time, blah, blah, blah. But once they get their feet wet a little bit, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
I would say May is going to be a tough stretch for them as a whole. But come June, probably playing at a 500 clip from there on out. That I would say is something fair and realistic to look forward to for the Cubs.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, they got a 9-game road trip: Minnesota, Houston, Philadelphia. So
Houston kind of stinks.
Yeah.
Houston's not good. Houston's not that good.
Seems like a great time for them to come back to life.
Yeah, I think they still win 100 games or 95.
I don't know. Their lineup is bad right now.
Altuve's going to come back, though.
Urquidy's hurt. Framber Valdez is like all that's he's like their
so good though.
He is.
He's
awesome.
my favorite pitcher to watch. I get what you're saying. They'll make a move. They could be a team that could go for Giolito too, probably.
Watch him spinning fucking 2,800 RPM fastballs.
Right.
Too.
They got Hunter Brown, who I really like too, Michigan kid, who I think is on the up and up. But yeah, no, I know they're struggling a little bit, but I still that's one team I trust will make a run at some point.
It's hard not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard not to.
Yeah. Track record.
Too much history.
Yeah.
Exactly. Any other objective from your perspective things on the Cubs,
I think
Chris?
that this is the on the Cubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was fine with the offseason they had. I like Dansby. It's not a good team, but they have good players, if that makes sense. Like, there's reasons to come to the park. Like, Dansby's good.
Yeah.
They have some good pitchers. It's by no means a lost cause. They're trending in the right direction, but it's kind of the weird part of a rebuild where you're definitely not bad enough to be tanking, but you're not quite good enough to be competing. So there will be reasons to go to the park.
This is always like a stepping stone year.
For sure,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think the last 2 years were legitimate, like bottom out, trade your guys away. You know, it's there's several guys that are here right now that will be on a playoff team at some point in the near future. It's just not going to be this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting to see where they're at, though, at the end, because I think like Bellinger is going to be. I don't know. Is it too early still or no?
For what? Trade talks?
Well, trade or like, do you look at re-signing this guy? Like, how much do you buy in right
now?
now?
How far away? I feel like it depends on what PCA is doing or
Sure. Yeah. And
he's going to be a stud.
Yeah, by all accounts,
he's going to be a stud. He was playing in the game I called last year.
He is going to be. He is so fun to watch offensively, and it's hard to be fun to watch defensively in baseball. He's
not a lot
fun
of guys
to watch
like that. Yeah,
defensively.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens here in May and June, but I don't envy Hoyer's position on Bellinger right now because it's a scary spot, in my opinion.
I feel like he's a mercenary. You know, like if you let him, you know, get his at bats, fix his career. I mean, I guess he's not that old too, though. So
no, he's not. He's had a weird arc in his career, but he hasn't been around that long, or at least he has, but he's just not that old.
He's 27.
He's 27 years
old.
old.
He's 20. Like you know, if you trade him away, okay, but then if he stays at this pace, like, and he's like, oh, he's Bellinger of old, he's back. I don't know. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. So like I don't envy Hoyer's.
It was weird because he was forced to bet on himself. He had been like one of the 5 worst players in
was
baseball
awful.
last year.
Oh,
Like
he
he was
was
OPS in the
horrific.
500s and shit. So I like them taking a flyer out on him, but now it's like, yeah, what
do you do?
Who's the real Bellinger? Is it the guy who showed up again this year, or is it the guy that we saw the last 2 years? Yeah, you extend him, that could be a disaster.
Yeah,
If he
and
reverts
huge
back to where he was.
And like
yeah.
he plays a great center field too. So
Great athlete.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a very good athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My gut says they probably don't, like you said, with PCA in the chamber.
Yeah.
I would say you probably trade him because
Dude,
what he's doing right now is very susceptible to just go right back to.
To
But what's a
immediate
value
regression.
on
Yeah.
a guy like that who
I have
nobody
no
knows?
idea.
You just got to find the one GM who's
And it's only half a year.
who needs
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the other thing is, too, like, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but you might just want to have a few extra things kicking around to go trade for something bigger in the offseason too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get more assets for Bellinger now, and then you position yourself to go, if Ohtani really is available,
yeah.
you know, like you want to have as many bullets in the gun, so to speak, to give yourself a shot.
Ohtani with the Cubs that'd be fun.
Pretty dirty.
Yeah.
That'd be insanely fun. They're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna do it.
Even
but
Dave would get a jersey.
I think he's going to the Dodgers. But yeah,
Probably.
like inevitably, it just seems like it. But
Yeah. Regardless, Bellinger, that's one of the most interesting storylines.
Cool
I
story.
know
Yeah,
right
for
now.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
He's going to be an all-star probably.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
so we'll
he keeps
see.
it up another month, and then like kind of even if he evens out a little bit. But trade Anderson too, trade Lynn, trade Hendricks, trade Joe Kelly,
All right.
trade them all.
Trade them all. All right. Good way to end.
Trade yourself.
Yeah, trade yourself.
Be a fan of a different team.
You gonna pull Frank the Tank?
No,
You're going down with the
Sinking,
ship
yeah.
forever. But like
Forever.
you've been sucking through like an air bubble on the bottom of the ocean since as long as I've known you, basically.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. All
these
right.
were supposed to be the fun times.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Jim McMahon. We'll be back on Tuesday. Go tune in live on Barstool Chicago's YouTube.
See you then.